Okay, this is a video showing how to keep your wing sweep from crushing your flaps if you have like the Freewing 80mm or the 64mm F-14. So on the 64, it has in the board, it does have a thing where it won't move the wings if the flaps are all the way down, but if they're not all the way down, it will still crush them. So here's the way that you can do it. So this servo right here, I don't have those planes anymore, I sold them, but we can still demonstrate it with these servos here. So this one right here is the flap, and this one is the wing sweep. So right now with it up like this, that would be the wings are forward, and then that means the wings are backward. So maybe we can put it like this so it makes better sense. And then here's your flaps. So that's the flaps down, mid flap, and the flaps up. And so let's say you sweep the wing. So now your flaps won't do anything unless the switch is this way, and now they work. But now look, let's say you have the flaps down like that, and for whatever reason you sweep the wing, which you're probably gonna have other problems at that point, but anyhow, see, it goes back real fast. So now there is a danger that if you switch, they still could crush, but I mean, it's an extra little safety thing than not doing it. Here's what it looks like on the monitor. So let me see if I can zoom in there. So if you have your flaps up, they should be down here in the -100 area, and then when you go flaps down, they go to the positive. And so the way you would set up this is you would do it through the mixing. So what you do is you go to mixing, and you're gonna make a mix, and you're gonna call it flap to flap. And then the switch that's going to control it is going to be the switch that works your wing sweep. So you would still set up your flaps as normal under the flap menu. So for Spektrum, you do, your aircraft type would be one aileron, one flap, tail is normal, and you would set that up as normal, just like you would if you weren't doing this mix. But then once you do this mix, you're gonna do -100, -100, and the offset is -100. And then the switch again, you're gonna have it on when the wings are forward. So in this case, you don't want the flaps moving when this mix is on. So that's how you do that. You may need to play around with your plane. It's possible yours could end up +100, +100, but I don't think so, because I didn't have to change anything on my radio since I don't have the airplanes anymore. But at least on the 64, this is how it was. So I'll show you on the flaps how it's still just, see, I've got -100. So one thing you may need to do as well is while you're doing your flap setup, you might need to disconnect the push rods from the flaps, and then while you have your values at -100 on the monitor and on here, mechanically put the flaps all the way up so that they're flush, so that everything's nice and even at minus 100. And then that way you'll go minus, you know, in my case I had minus 50 and then 0 for low flaps. And then you could do your elevator mix however you need to have it, or however you like it. And then if you go back to the mixing here, you can just use those values. You could maybe play around with those if you need to, but these values work just fine for it. So keep everything even. And here's how it looks just on the monitor screen. So there's the flap, and then this is the wings forward. On mine it was set to 145. Sorry, that's the wings forward, and that's the wings back. So that's another thing. So on the 64, what you want to do is you want to, with this value here at minus 100, you want to mechanically put your wings so that they're both forward, and you don't want the servo straining, because what can happen is because those servos, if you look on the 64 mil, the arms are like, one is a little lower than the other. If you just try digitally to get the wings even, it overdrives one of the servos, and it will get hot and it'll start to get tired and give out during flight. So what you want to do is you want to have your value at minus 100, put your wings all the way forward, and set your push rods. And then when you sweep the wings, now you can add more travel as they come in, and one wing will be just a little bit more tucked in than the other, and that's fine. It's not going to affect anything. But once you have that set and you do this mix, as you can see here, so right now the flaps work, but when you bring the wings back, now there's no flap. And if you did have the flaps down, the other thing I did is I have a 4-second delay on the channel for the wing sweep, and so that's just under the regular servo setup. You go to speed, and that's set at 4 seconds. And then your flaps, you can do your normal, you wouldn't do the speed here. You would make sure to do the speed under the flap setting. So right here it's set at 2 seconds. You could set it at whatever you want. Anyway, I hope this helps.